Every day, people try to change your mind without you even noticing. They tell you what to buy, what to believe, who to trust, and even how to see yourself. The frightening part is not that influence exists. The frightening part is how invisible it has become. Most people think persuasion is loud. Real persuasion is silent. Machiavelli understood that the greatest strategist rarely forces anyone to obey. Instead, he creates conditions where people willingly choose the path he wanted from the beginning. They believe they are acting freely while quietly following a direction someone else designed. That is the hidden power of reverse psychology. This is not about manipulation for personal gain. It is about recognizing the psychological patterns used against you every single day, so you stop becoming an easy target. In this video, you will discover 12 Machiavellian laws that reveal why people chase what disappears, defend ideas that were never theirs, and fight to prove someone wrong without realizing they have already lost control of the game. Each law becomes more powerful than the last. And the final law explains why the most dangerous form of influence requires no clever words at all. Once you recognize these patterns, ordinary conversations will never feel ordinary again. Law 1: The forbidden choice. Why people want what you stop offering. Have you ever noticed how people suddenly want something after you stop offering it? The moment availability disappears, curiosity wakes. Most people panic here. They offer more attention, more explanations, more access, hoping desire returns. Instead, value collapses because pursuit removes mystery. Machiavelli recognized that resistance grows whenever people feel controlled, but desire grows whenever choice feels threatened. The forbidden option becomes psychologically valuable because the mind hates losing possibilities. Take something away carefully, and attention often follows it. Imagine declining an invitation without excuses. You remain calm, respectful, unavailable. Suddenly the same person begins asking why. They become invested because certainty vanished. They are no longer chasing you. They are chasing the missing answer. This principle is not manipulation. It is disciplined restraint. Stop rewarding every demand with immediate access. Let people experience limits. Let absence create perspective. Those who genuinely value you will step forward. Those who wanted convenience will disappear. Reverse psychology begins where pressure ends. The less you force, the more freely others move. Control yourself first. Curiosity will handle the rest. That is the forbidden choice. It transforms chasing into attraction without begging or pretending. Master this law, and every future principle becomes stronger, because desire always follows what quietly escapes those who chase relentlessly. Law 2: The silent refusal. Make them convince you instead. A decision loses power the moment you begin defending it. Quiet refusal changes the entire negotiation before a single argument begins. People expect resistance. They prepare answers. They rehearse persuasion. What unsettles them is calm certainty. When you decline without frustration or apology, the conversation reverses. Suddenly they start explaining why you should reconsider. They become the ones chasing approval instead. Power shifts when effort changes direction. Machiavelli observed that whoever seeks validation first quietly surrenders leverage. The person who remains composed forces others to invest emotionally. Every explanation they offer increases their commitment to winning your agreement. Picture a client offering terms you know are weak. Rather than arguing, you simply say, "That won't work for me." Nothing more. Hours later, they return with improved conditions because silence created uncertainty. Your refusal became the pressure, not your words. Practice disciplined restraint. Decline respectfully. Never rush to justify every decision. Confidence does not require lengthy explanations. It requires consistency. When people realize they must earn your agreement, their mindset changes. They stop evaluating your value and start proving theirs. That is reverse psychology at its sharpest. The quieter your refusal, the stronger your position becomes. Influence grows when others persuade themselves, not when you persuade them. Master this law completely, Subscribe, then comment reverse if you're starting to see the hidden game. Law 3, the ego trigger. Let their pride become your weapon. People will ignore advice. They will reject instructions. They will argue against logic, but question their ability, and everything changes. Reverse psychology becomes powerful the moment pride enters the conversation. Human beings protect their self-image more fiercely than they protect the truth. Once their identity feels challenged, they begin acting to defend it, often without realizing someone else created the trigger. A confident strategist never argues endlessly. Machiavelli saw that direct pressure creates resistance, while wounded pride creates self-motivation. The harder someone tries proving themselves, the less effort you need to spend pushing them forward. Consider a simple situation. Someone claims they can handle enormous responsibility, but keeps avoiding difficult work. Instead of demanding action, you calmly suggest the challenge may require someone with greater discipline. The atmosphere changes immediately. Their attention shifts from resisting you to defending themselves. Now their own pride becomes the driving force. That is the hidden reversal. Your objective is not humiliation, it is activation. Leave enough doubt for their ego to respond naturally, but never enough to create resentment. The difference is subtle, yet critical. One inspires action, the other destroys trust. Used carefully, this principle transforms resistance into momentum, because people become determined to prove something to themselves as much as to you. The strongest influence never forces movement. It awakens the desire already waiting inside the other person. Law 4, the controlled withdrawal. Why absence creates obsession. Presence feels normal. Absence forces attention. That is why countless people destroy their own influence without realizing it. They answer instantly. They remain constantly available. They remove every opportunity for anticipation. Over time, familiarity replaces appreciation, and people stop noticing what is always there. Reverse psychology works differently. Instead of increasing your presence, you reduce it with purpose. Machiavelli knew that people rarely measure value while they possess something freely. They measure it only after access becomes uncertain. The mind naturally focuses on what has disappeared because unanswered questions demand psychological closure. Think about someone who suddenly stops pursuing a conversation after always carrying it before. No anger, no dramatic goodbye, just quiet distance. The other person begins wondering what changed. Curiosity replaces certainty. Certainty is comfortable. Curiosity is unforgettable. This principle is not about playing childish games. It is about protecting your availability. Do not confuse constant access with genuine connection. Give people room to experience your absence. Let silence create contrast. Let missing your presence reveal the value they overlooked while it was always available. Used with discipline, controlled withdrawal shifts emotional investment without unnecessary conflict. People appreciate what they must occasionally live without. That appreciation rarely appears while everything remains permanently within reach. Sometimes the strongest message contains no words. It is simply the space you choose to leave behind. Law 5, the illusion of control. Make them believe it was their decision. Nobody likes feeling controlled. The moment people sense pressure, they instinctively defend their freedom. They reject advice, question motives, and resist suggestions that they might have accepted under different circumstances. The battle is rarely against your idea. It is against the feeling of being pushed. That is where reverse psychology changes the game. Machiavelli saw that hidden influence is stronger than visible force. People trust conclusions they believe they reached themselves. Once an idea feels self-created, they defend it without realizing someone quietly guided the path. Picture a leader facing a stubborn team. Instead of presenting the answer, they ask a series of simple questions. One by one, the group connects the pieces until someone proudly announces the solution. Everyone supports it because ownership now belongs to them. Nothing changed except perception. Guide the direction. Never force the destination. Ask thoughtful questions instead of delivering commands. Let curiosity replace resistance. When people discover an answer themselves, commitment becomes stronger than obedience ever could. The highest level of influence never feels like influence. It feels like personal choice. And that is exactly why it works. Like this video and comment choice if this principle changed how you see influence. Law 6, the reverse challenge. Doubt them until they prove you wrong. Encouragement motivates some people. Doubt motivates many more. Human nature reacts strangely when someone quietly questions its capability. A direct order invites resistance, but a carefully placed doubt often awakens determination. The desire to prove another person wrong becomes stronger than the desire to avoid the task itself. That is why this principle works. Machiavelli recognized that pride responds faster than persuasion. Once someone's competence feels uncertain, their attention shifts immediately. They stop arguing with you and begin arguing with the possibility of failure. Their own ambition takes control of the situation. Consider a talented employee avoiding a demanding project. Instead of insisting they accept it, you calmly remark that the challenge may require someone with greater discipline. Suddenly, hesitation disappears. They volunteer because walking away now feels like admitting weakness. The challenge did the work, not the pressure. Use this carefully. Question ability without insulting character. Create just enough uncertainty to spark action, never enough to create resentment. The objective is inspiration through pride, not humiliation through criticism. Reverse psychology succeeds when people become determined by their own emotions instead of your commands. The strongest push is often the one you never make, because once someone decides to prove you wrong, they stop needing your persuasion altogether. Law 7, the scarcity frame. Remove access, increase desire. Unlimited access destroys appreciation. The easier something becomes to obtain, the less attention people give it. Familiarity slowly replaces curiosity until your presence feels ordinary instead of valuable. Most people respond by offering even more time, more attention, and more availability, unknowingly making the problem worse. Reverse psychology works in the opposite direction. Machiavelli knew that scarcity changes perception before reality changes. When access becomes limited, the mind immediately begins assigning greater importance to what is no longer guaranteed. People notice absence far faster than constant presence because uncertainty captures attention. Picture a mentor who always replies within minutes. One day the responses become thoughtful, but less frequent. Nothing hostile happens. Nothing dramatic changes. Yet the student begins valuing every message more, because each one now feels earned instead of expected. That is psychological scarcity. Protect your availability. Let your attention become intentional instead of automatic. Not everyone deserves immediate access to your time, energy, or focus. The people who truly value you will respect your boundaries instead of demanding unlimited availability. Scarcity is never about pretending to be important. It is about treating your own time as important first. When access becomes selective, appreciation grows naturally. The rarest presence always leaves the strongest impression. That is why people chase what they cannot constantly reach. Law 8, the strategic agreement. Agree first, then redirect their mind. Arguments rarely change opinions. In most conversations, the moment you say you're wrong, the other person stops listening. Their goal shifts from discovering the truth to defending their position. Every sentence becomes a shield instead of a bridge. Reverse psychology takes another route. Machiavelli understood that resistance weakens when people feel understood first. Agreement lowers defenses because it removes the expectation of conflict. Once tension disappears, the mind becomes far more willing to consider a different direction. Picture a negotiation where someone insists on an unrealistic demand. Instead of rejecting it immediately, you acknowledge the reasoning behind it. They relax because they feel heard. Only then do you introduce a small alternative that naturally leads toward your preferred outcome. Step by step, they begin adjusting their own position without feeling defeated. That is strategic agreement. You are not surrendering. You are creating an opening. Accept what deserves agreement, then gently redirect the conversation instead of attacking it head-on. People resist pressure, but often follow guidance that respects their perspective. A calm redirection accomplishes more than 10 heated arguments ever will. The smartest strategist wins without creating unnecessary enemies. Agreement lowers the walls. Direction changes the path. That is how influence quietly replaces confrontation. If you haven't subscribed yet, do it now and comment mindset before we continue. Law 9. The curiosity hook. Reveal less. Make them chase more. Curiosity survives where certainty ends. The moment you explain everything, the mystery disappears. Questions fade. Interest weakens. People stop investing mentally because every answer has already been handed to them. An open loop always holds attention longer than a finished story. This is where reverse psychology quietly gains its advantage. Machiavelli saw that information becomes more valuable when it is controlled instead of constantly distributed. A person who reveals every intention becomes predictable. A person who leaves thoughtful gaps invites others to fill them with their own imagination. Consider someone announcing a major decision but refusing to explain every detail immediately. They remain calm, offer only what is necessary, and move on. Suddenly, everyone wants to know more. The conversation continues long after they have left, because unanswered questions keep working inside other people's minds. That is the power of restraint. Reveal enough to create interest. Hide enough to sustain it. There is no need to manufacture mystery or play childish games. Simply stop feeling obligated to explain every choice, every goal, or every thought the moment it appears. Confidence allows silence to carry part of the message. The strongest influence often comes from what remains unsaid. Curiosity keeps people moving. Over-explanation brings the pursuit to an end. Master this principle, and people will begin seeking the answers you never offered freely. Law 10. The mirror principle. Let people persuade themselves. The strongest argument is the one you never make. People naturally trust conclusions they reach through their own thinking. The instant you begin forcing opinions, resistance appears. Yet when someone arrives at the same conclusion alone, they defend it with surprising confidence, because the idea now feels personal. Machiavelli recognized that influence becomes invisible when another person believes they discovered the answer first. Instead of filling every silence with explanations, ask questions that encourage reflection. A thoughtful question often changes a mind more effectively than a confident statement. Picture two friends discussing a risky decision. One lectures for 10 minutes and gets ignored. The other simply asks, "What happens if this goes wrong?" The conversation pauses. Moments later, the first friend starts identifying the risks independently. No argument occurred, yet the outcome completely changed. That is the mirror principle. Do not rush to provide every answer. Create the space where answers appear naturally. People defend self-discovered ideas far more passionately than borrowed opinions. When reflection replaces pressure, persuasion becomes almost effortless, because the mind begins convincing itself. The greatest victory belongs to the person who never needed to win the argument at all. Law 11. The emotional vacuum. Withdraw the reaction they expected. Manipulators survive on predictable reactions. They provoke, they criticize, they insult, not because the words matter, but because your emotional response gives them control. The instant you react exactly as expected, they know where your attention, weakness, and energy are invested. Reverse psychology breaks that pattern completely. Machiavelli believed that revealing emotion at the wrong moment hands valuable information to the other side. A person expecting anger becomes confused by composure. Someone waiting for an argument struggles when silence arrives instead. Their strategy begins collapsing because the reaction they depended on never appears. Picture a coworker making a sarcastic remark during a meeting, hoping you'll defend yourself. Instead, you acknowledge it with a calm smile and continue speaking without changing your tone. The room shifts. Their attempt to control the atmosphere quietly fails because your response refused to feed it. That is emotional withdrawal. Do not reward provocation. Do not rush to defend every insult. The less emotional fuel you provide, the faster manipulative behavior loses momentum. People repeat actions that produce results. Remove the reward, and many games end naturally. Silence can expose weakness more effectively than confrontation. The greatest victory is denying your opponent the reaction they carefully plan to receive. That is where real psychological control begins. Law 12, the Machiavelli law. The most powerful reverse psychology happens without words. Words persuade. Behavior convinces. That is the final lesson. Most people believe influence comes from saying the perfect sentence. They search for clever phrases, stronger arguments, and flawless responses. Yet the greatest psychological influence rarely depends on language. It comes from what people observe when nothing is being explained. Machiavelli knew actions shape belief more deeply than promises ever could. Quiet confidence, controlled restraint, unwavering discipline, and deliberate silence communicate authority long before a conversation begins. People instinctively read behavior because behavior is harder to fake than speech. Picture someone entering a room without demanding attention. They remain composed. They never interrupt. They never chase approval. They never explain their value. Yet people gradually adjust around them because certainty speaks louder than performance. That is silent influence. Live your standards. Protect your boundaries. Control your emotions. Let consistency become your reputation instead of constantly announcing your intentions. When your actions remain aligned over time, people begin trusting what they repeatedly witness rather than what they occasionally hear. This is the highest form of reverse psychology. You stop trying to control minds. You control yourself. Ironically, that discipline influences others more than manipulation ever could. The loudest person captures attention. The quietest strategist shapes decisions. That is Machiavelli's final law. The greatest psychological victory is achieved before a single word is ever spoken. The greatest mistake is believing reverse psychology is about controlling others. It isn't. It is about understanding human nature, so you stop becoming easy to manipulate. Once you recognize these 12 laws, you'll notice them everywhere in conversations, relationships, business, and everyday life. The difference is that now you'll see the game before it begins. Which law changed the way you think the most? Comment its number below. If you're serious about mastering psychology, strategy, and the timeless lessons of Machiavelli, subscribe now. Most people react to the world. The few who understand it quietly shape it. I'll see you in the next one.